I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over your son.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right, greetings and good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. As usual, I am your host, Manningsman. And as usual, we begin our program by just being grateful and thankful that we have life and life more abundantly. We never take it for granted that we get to live to see a new day, and it's a day to rejoice and be glad. We may not have all the necessities that this present life demands of us, but we have life. And if we have life, we have hope. And so we look to the hills from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from the Most High God who created the heavens and the earth. We leave you with a word of encouragement, or begin with a word of encouragement. And it's very simple. If you always do what you have always done, you will always be who you have always been. And so there is a need for you to change and operate differently every single day. Add value to people's life and add value to your own life. Readers are leaders. Never let a month pass without you reading a book. Learn something new. Improve and develop yourself. Because self-development demands self-discipline. Today I'm very privileged to be able to do an interview with one of our present Reggae girls who made her senior debut, but we have been trying to talk to her since her performance at the last U20, where she was one of the standout players. But not only that, I mean, this is generations of footballer, because her grandfather played football for Jamaica, her dad played football, she has represented Jamaica, and her brother also played in the U17. All right, the U17. We are not going to ask her in this interview who is the best one, but we can draw our conclusion. She has scored for the national team, so she's the only one so far from her family who has done that. So I suppose we could walk away saying that she is the best of the lot so far, but we don't know. She's also presently at the University of Tennessee. We are not going to break this to ask you to hit the like button, to subscribe, and all of those things. As usual, the three things you do if you appreciate the content and the work is to hit the like button, subscribe to the platform if you are not a subscriber, and also share it with others so they can watch this interview. Her name is Kameron Simmonds, all right? And it's Cameron with a K. And so let's invite Cameron to I Am Sure Sports. Welcome, Cameron. Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. All right, Cameron. Listen, we want to begin. Just tell with you for those in Jamaica who have seen you play. They probably have never heard you speak. I don't know if you have ever done an interview where they have actually heard from you with any Jamaica media outlet. Tell them a little bit about you, when you started playing football, and um, how were you introduced to the game,
Okay.
and yeah.
Yes. So, I never, when I first started playing, it was pretty late. I was around 12 years old. The game was always around me, though. My dad played in college, he played professionally. It was his career. He had a technical training business called Own Touch. He was always watching Man United on on the screen, and I just never, I just never really picked it up and found a passion for it or was very interested in it. It was always around me, but I just was kind of into gymnastics at the time. But I feel like it wasn't until the 2015 Women's World Cup that I actually sat down and watched, and I was just amazed to see women playing at such a high level and so many fans there to watch. And I think that kind of made it click for me. And so after that, I just was like, okay, I'm going to try out for the travel team. I'm going to start going to Own Touch and taking it more serious. And then as I did that, I realized, I had some talent and I loved it. And I wasn't going to stop, trying to improve my game and get better technically and really fall in love with the game and everything that it has to offer. So after that, around 12 years old, like I said, I traveled or I tried out for the travel team, made the third team out of four. And then within that same season, I moved up to the second team. And then that very next year, I moved up to the first team. And then in the middle of that season was when I made the ECNL team, which is the top level. And after that, like I said, I just kind of went running. Like I was at Own Touch any off days that I could with my dad or any other coaches that they had available at the time. My younger brothers all played. My 16-year brother, now he's 3 years younger than me. He always played. He played from when he was young. So, when I kind of caught up, we would play together. And then obviously my dad just played a huge role in that because he would go to work and I would say, okay, let's go. I'm just gonna go kick a ball around. Who's ever available to train me can train me. I'll train with my brother. It just the overall environment became my like everything. I just loved everything about it. I started watching more soccer, made friends through soccer, and that just became my whole life. And ever since then, I had stopped at nothing and was able to create some goals. And I've met a lot of them, but I still have so many to achieve um, and that I want to achieve. But that's a little bit about the
Whoa.
background.
So you started at 12. So this is a 7-year career we're talking about, because you're
Yes,
19 now, going to be 20 soon. So in
yes,
7 years of really seriously playing football, you have played U20s for Jamaica,
yes,
um, and senior team football for Jamaica.
yes.
Okay, what about your high school footballing career? Which high school did you go to
Okay.
in the States, and how did that go? And did you always play as a center forward, or you played in other positions? And if other positions, when did you transition to the central striker role?
Okay, yes. I went to James River High School in Midlothian, Virginia, in the United States, and I was the only freshman to make the varsity team. And at the time, I was playing center back. So I started
Oh,
every game. Yeah, I started every game at center back. It started in club, though, I would say my eighth grade year. But I had always played forward all throughout middle school and it wasn't until maybe U16 for club that my coach decided to put me at center back.
any
And
particular reason?
I think he just thought I was, tall and big and fast and strong, and he just wanted to put me back there. And I did well. I enjoyed it, but I think at heart I always wanted to be a goal scorer. And so in games that we may have needed to score, he would switch me. So I would be playing center forward and center back in a game, going back and forth. But I had no problems with it because I loved it. I just wanted to be on the field. But in high school, I did play majority center back. But I would switch too. Like I would switch to center forward as well. But I would say after my freshman year was when I just stuck to forward, and I would go back and forth from, left wing or center forward. But through my high school career, I only played 1 year because my sophomore year was canceled due to COVID. And then my
Oh,
junior, yes. And then my junior and senior year, I just decided to forego playing on the team and just really focus on training. And I would train with some local boys teams or
oh,
my
whoa.
dad. And I just decided that I could use that time to maybe do a little bit more serious and more work on more specific things during that time. But so to answer that question, I only really played my freshman season, but that year I was the team MVP. I made the first team all region, and first team all state, and then I was also regional player of the year as
In your freshman year.
yes.
Wow. Okay, so did you ever try out for the under 17 Jamaican team, or were you ever like invited to
Yeah.
like the American camps that they would have, or you just always knew and your parents always knew that, listen, once it's time for you to represent any national team, it's going to be Jamaica,
Yeah.
or were you part of any American team pool and then decided at a later stage, okay, Jamaica is going to be, or it was Jamaica from the beginning, and what point was that?
Well, Jamaica reached out when I was 16, and I was all
Okay.
over it. Like I just said, okay, let's go, let's do this. And when I was 16, that was the opportunity for the under 17 camp, which was my first ever experience with the Jamaican national team. And so I went to camp, and that camp was actually cut short due to COVID as well. So I had just joined the pool right before COVID, and then
Oh,
I would say a year and a half after that it was really nothing because we couldn't do anything. And so the U20s, when we went to the DR to World Cup qualifiers,
right.
that was my first
The
time back.
first, yeah, yeah, because that would have been a long layoff.
Yeah.
It's amazing because, like I said, you started at 12, and
Hmm.
in those 7 years, is that you started playing, like two of those years were really years of the pandemic,
Hmm.
right? So what did you do during that time, seeing that there was really, at least for one of those years, there was no like competitive football games being
Yeah.
played? What did you do to, to keep the hope, the dream alive, and to keep improving on your skill and on your craft? And how often did you
Yeah.
do those things?
I would say almost every single day. I mean, just being in the environment in the household that I'm in helped tremendously. When all three of my younger brothers play, my dad trains, and we will train us, and then we would just go to own touch, obviously being mindful of the protocols, but we would still be able to go. We went basically every day. Since it's four of us, we would do 2v2 and just play against each other, to many goals, and we would watch whatever games were on. It really, I honestly look back and it was pretty fun. I mean, obviously, despite not being with my team and not being able to play competitive games, but still being able to use that time to really focus on my technique, because picking up the game late kind of put me at a disadvantage as other girls who had been playing since 4 or 5, have been working on those technical and skills and the technique. And so I really used that time to focus on that, and it was really really helpful. But again, I don't know if I feel like things would probably be very different if I didn't have the family I did and the resources I did during that time.
Yeah. Okay, so you come to the under 20, and many persons thought that we had a good enough team to probably get into at least the semifinals. All
Mhm.
right. Had some very unfortunate situations, like I think
Mhm.
Peyton McNamara,
Yes.
her name is, she got injured.
Yes.
Um, Maya Mitchell, who came
Mhm.
in to play in midfield, she also got injured.
Yeah.
In that, not all of the young ladies, I think, were probably doing as much work leading up to that because of the pandemic. So some weren't at the level of fitness. I
Sure.
mean, talk to us about your own experience in that tournament and how not progressing further, um, if any way impacted you at all?
Yeah, so I would say I attended one camp prior to going to the DR, and that camp wasn't everyone who was on the team because they had um, maybe two or three camps trying to get whoever they could into those camps to get seen. But yeah, going there was an experience, and I still look back and I'm very grateful for it. But I think um, the injuries definitely were an issue and a problem just because Peyton was our captain. She had played in the previous World Cup qualifier. She had had some experience and would have definitely helped us progress. But her getting injured in that first game um, kind of put things off just a little bit. We didn't have a lot of other experienced girls like her. Um, but then Nia again picked up that injury, and then we also picked up a red card, and just things like that we couldn't really control. But I still look back and I think that it was a great experience for me, obviously being able to score some goals and that really being my first international experience playing against other countries and, wearing the colors for the first time, really. But yeah.
So U20s, you go back home
Hmm.
because by this you were like you were just focused on probably on schoolwork because
Sure.
you weren't playing for your school anymore,
Right.
right? But you're still playing for the club.
Yes.
Okay, and what same in the ECNL?
ECNL. Hmm.
Right. Okay. All
Right.
right. So, how did the University of Tennessee come into play, and how many other offers you had in terms of universities, and why University of Tennessee? Is it because of Buddy Shaw went there? That have anything to do with it, or it's just completely up to you and your family.
Yes. So, well, due to NCAA rules, schools can start to reach out when you're officially a junior. So, June 15th, going into my junior year, was the first day colleges could reach out. My phone was blowing up in emails and text messages and calls, just trying to get on the phone and get to talking. And so, I would say the 2 or 3 days after that date were very, very hectic and stressful, just trying to create a schedule, get back to everyone. But I would say um, I had,
Sorry, let me just ask this. So, where were they seeing you to have such interest, seeing
okay,
that you weren't actually playing for your school, except in your freshman year when you were playing center back and the
sure.
the DR tournament was like the major tournament. Where were they seeing Cameron playing regularly to say, "Whoa, this is a talent,"
Mhm.
and especially as a striker, seeing that you're playing, your best year in high school, your
Yeah,
freshman year,
yeah,
was center back you were playing. So
yes.
maybe
So,
we can just explain that so we can
yeah,
get a better
absolutely.
picture. Yeah.
So unlike a lot of other sports, the main way soccer players are seen are through club. High school is
Okay.
not high school is not the main um I guess, outlet. I would say coaches don't really pay much attention to high school, but I would say through club, we would go to these showcases. We would do maybe three a year or three a season in various locations: North Carolina, Florida, Texas, San Diego, and then a lot of the like D1 coaches and D2 coaches would go there to watch players play.
Okay.
Yes,
So
and
you
then
were doing well. You were doing well in the
yes,
ECNL.
yes.
Playing center back still or center forward?
Mainly center forward.
Okay, okay. What was like your goal scoring like? Tell us a little bit about that. I did. How well did the team do?
Yes. So U16 I was playing center back. U17 the season after that, I switched back to center forward and I scored about 25 goals that season, and then our team for the first time ended top 3 in our league, and then we
Region. Okay.
qualified for Champions League, which is the top league for playoffs. Um, and so we didn't get to compete though because of COVID. But that year was definitely my breakthrough season. I was playing forward, scoring goals and winning. We were winning games. And I would say that was probably where I got the most looks because even at the showcases I went to, I was playing pretty well there as well. So that season was, I would say, probably one of my best. Um, but that was really the main.
Where you got recruited from?
Yes, yes,
Okay, so you're at the point where you're saying that you had all of these offers and you had to make a some sort of a schedule to kind of get back with the different colleges that were, yeah, that
yeah.
were
It was.
scouting you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still difficult just because it was during COVID and you're allowed 5 official visits, but due to COVID, I couldn't go on them. So a lot of the offers were either waiting until, you know, the dead period was kind of lifted, but obviously no one knew. COVID just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So it just kind of came to the point where I would have to drive to see some campuses that I really, really liked or had liked the coaches. And then obviously based on distance or just the relationship I had with the coaches. I just had to make a decision based off of that because I wasn't able to go on any of the official visits and really get a full feel for the college and the team and what it had to offer. So my decision just was made based on my gut and what I was feeling the most comfortable, what my heart was really at the end of the day. And that's how I ended up choosing Tennessee. I had a great relationship with all 3 coaches. Two of my teammates that I had played club with were committed there as well. We drove to campus. It was about 6 hours from where I live. And I just immediately could see myself there. I loved everything about the big school, big sports, like a well-known brand really that the school has in the States. So I made my decision based off that and I'm still, very happy with it.
All right, wonderful. Before we get to the national team, so tell us a little bit about University of Tennessee because this is your freshman year also
Yes.
at the
Yes.
University of Tennessee. Yeah. How
Yeah.
is it? How has it been so far in terms of the start of the collegiate season?
Yeah, it's been great. Last season, obviously as a freshman, minutes vary, they're not guaranteed. There's just a lot of experience that has to come, and then obviously performing in training, but just being able to be a part of that for the first time because I was committed to Tennessee for 2 years before getting here. So watching
Oh,
them play and just in visualizing everything and then finally being
what was Brian Penske the coach at that?
yes.
Because he then moved to University of Florida.
Yes, he was the coach that I had committed to, and then he took the position at FSU.
Yeah,
I believe May before
yeah,
I came in.
yeah.
But yeah, the first season I learned so much. Now we're kind of in the spring season where everyone's playing a ton of minutes. We're playing games. We're working on, our team culture and structure. And so it's a lot more detailed now. But I do feel like I had a really good first year. Was able to score 4 goals in the time that I got to play. So grateful for that. And I just overall I had a great experience this first year.
All right. I mean, did you, so now? All right, awesome. So now you're in the second season, but it's still your first year at school, right? At
Yes,
the
technically it's the first season. There's a fall season, which is the only one that really counts. And then
okay.
now we're in spring where we're just playing friendly games against other colleges.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because I did see some clips, and I was wondering but they were friendly games.
Yes.
That was before the national team went away. I think I saw a clip from your dad, and you
Hmm.
playing.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yes.
right, all right, all right. So I mean, at what point did you like had an inclination or an inkling, a thought that I could be called up to the Jamaican national senior team? Like, did you ever think that it would happen? Like, like based on how I'm performing, did it come as a surprise? Or you kind of had a feeling like just based on how you have been doing that opportunity would present itself?
I would say both because part of me, I just think ever since I started playing and then that the accolades that I was getting, and then how quickly I was kind of progressing. I was just kind of like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. So whatever kind of came, I was like, okay, great. And obviously I was going to continue to be my best and work towards these things. But I still kind of in the back of my mind was just kind of sitting back and couldn't really believe everything that was happening, just because of how quickly, and I still was just trying to play my game. But then obviously things are getting really serious with Jamaican national team and college recruiting. But I feel like after the U20s, the coach had made an announcement that, you know, some of like to keep working to the group. He's like, keep working because a few of you guys will be called up, or will be in the pool, will be thought of, will be talked about. So just keep the work up, and we're going to keep watching you guys. Right. So I was like, senior national team. I couldn't. I was like, you mean with the professionals? You mean with Bunny Shaw? Like the senior? I couldn't. But obviously, I was dying for the opportunity. But I kind of had a feeling just based off that announcement. But it was still just unreal. But then the first time I got called up, I just was over the moon because I just knew what it meant. And I knew that this was a World Cup year. And I said, okay, now I have the opportunity to play in a World Cup. Like, how everything just was just layers,
Yes.
a ton of layers to it. And I think now I've really gotten my feet, and I'm all in.
Yeah. So how just tell us a little bit like when you got that email, when you got that phone call, that text message, whatever
Mhm.
it was, or when you saw the information for the first time that you were called up to what, a training camp
Yeah.
or called into a squad. Just bring us through that, and give us an understanding of how you felt and how did it happen. Was it a phone call? Was it the head coach? Was it just a list you saw?
Mhm.
Was it your dad said, I have something to, how did it happen?
Well, leading up to the list, like the email, the first email that I got, I was hearing, that the opportunity was there and the opportunity had presented itself, but obviously nothing is really set in stone until that roster or, comes out. So I was kind of expecting it, kind of just anticipating, waiting for that final list. But when I got the email, um, I believe I got it first, and then I sent it to my dad.
Oh,
And because obviously they have a email list of all the players that they
yeah.
invited. So when I just saw that list and then the names that were on there, all the girls that I had watched in Mexico the summer before, in the World Cup qualifiers, but the first camp was in South Korea. So not only was I with the senior national team for the first time, thinking that it was going to be in Florida or even in Jamaica. It was a huge trip to South Korea, and I'd
Yeah.
never been on a plane ever that long. I've never even been to Europe. I've never been anywhere but you know Jamaica and the U.S. really.
Yeah.
So that I just
Did your father say, no, no, I need to see that email. Where is it? Or did he?
I was here at school, so I got it. I forwarded to him. He immediately called me, and we were just like,
Yeah.
the hard work starts right now. It was one of those type of moments. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, okay, so you went to South Korea. That was the first
Yes.
call up. Tell us about that experience and what happened in South Korea and what was it like for you?
It was it was unreal. That was the first time that I maybe got a little glimpse of what it would be like to play professional soccer, because I always wanted to. I always knew since I was 16, like I want to play professional soccer. But seeing the other players' routines and the coaching and the meetings, I never ever experienced anything quite like it, because club, we just go to practice 4 days a week and play a game on the weekend or two. But this time, just I'm saying, being around everyone, I feel like was the biggest eye opener. Just seeing how they move, seeing how they take care of themselves, seeing how the coaches work with each other and work with the players. We would have these like pre-practice meetings where they would give us the practice plan and they would check in, and they did a whole kind of player profile of what they want to see. And the amount of Well, I thought it was
The
very
information,
organized.
yeah.
Yes, and I just was sitting there in awe because, like I said, I had never experienced anything like that before. But that after that camp, I was like, oh yes, this is what I want to do. Because imagine being able to do that without the schoolwork. And I said, yeah, that's gonna be for me. But and also the game day when we actually played South Korea, being in that locker room and seeing, my jersey set up with the number and the last name. Um, I really couldn't like
Did,
I feel
did,
like
did you get to choose your number, or number was just assigned to
no,
you?
the numbers are always chosen for you. I didn't get to choose.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Because I wanted to find out if you, because in the U20s you had number 9.
right.
In the game that you played against Sheffield, I think you had number 7.
Hmm.
And I think the game in the tournament in Austria, you had a different
Yeah, it kind
number.
of varies.
Yeah, oh, okay, okay. But all right, so go back. Let's talk about South Korea. And on game day, remind people who you played, how much time did you get, and what was that like for the first time you actually
Yes.
got minutes with the senior team?
Yes, so we played South Korea, and they're a very organized team. We always knew that they were a pretty highly ranked FIFA team, and it was also a real FIFA game. Like it was going to go towards our ranking, so it was a pretty serious game. But just being in a stadium like that for the first time was incredible enough. Like walking out to the field and visualizing and seeing the crowd that was there and the amount of seats and just I I, I was just in awe. I couldn't really believe what was going on. But I got about 8 minutes in that game at the last 8 minutes, and just being on the field with my teammates and in front of the coaches and the crowd and I don't know. It's just a lot to kind of explain. A lot of feelings and um, everything. Like I do remember getting a little emotional just because of
Yeah.
I was just wowed. I couldn't believe what was going on. And of course, when it comes to playing, like I totally zone out into playing mode. So at
Yeah.
that point, I was trying to stay focused, and I think we were down 1-0 at the time, and we needed to score. So I said, okay, we need to score. But I just going back to that really being my first time, and since then, obviously being in Australia and England,
Yeah.
I've gotten a little bit more, but
So,
that
so
was
when,
my
like,
first
let's
time.
go back to that South Korea. Like, I know, like, for me, probably when I played, people would say, all right, when you're coming onto the field, they started telling, listen, don't be scared, we are here for you. And
Hmm.
did you have like the senior players kind of
Yes,
doing anything to encourage you to make you feel like, okay, you don't have to worry, we are here. Did you
yes.
have that experience, like persons from the team, the senior players coming over to you and giving you an assurance that, you know,
Yes, yes. I do remember getting some of that and as well from the coaches, but I was there with one of my now teammates, Giselle Washington. She's here at University of Tennessee with me. So we kind of were together that whole trip, and she has had some senior team experience
right,
already
right.
since she helped qualify the very first time. So we were just there, and she was encouraging me. Just everyone was saying, "Don't be nervous," and
Yeah.
that was
Were
just
you
the main
nervous?
thing. I was nervous, but I feel like I was just more overwhelmed by everything. Like
Yeah.
not very too nervous about the playing part, but it was all just a lot. But everyone, even the girls that were on the bench with me, the girls that were going on, and when I came on, seeing some of my teammates clap, like, okay, Cam, let's go, let's go. And the coaches, obviously, they did a great job as well, just relieving those nerves and just saying, go play, just go have fun. And as a young player, someone who's nervous, those are the exact words you want to hear because that's what we always do, just go play and go have fun. But the circumstances, even though it was a little bit more serious, I feel like that principle shouldn't and doesn't really
And
change.
we lost that game to South Korea.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. And then
Yes.
the next time would have been the tour to Australia was the next time you were called up, right?
Well, the next time was there was a Florida camp in
Right.
January,
Yeah, the camp and then we had the
and then
camp
Australia.
and then Australia. All
Yes.
right. No, that's big because you played Australia, Spain,
Yes.
and Slovenia.
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, right,
Mhm.
right. So, and you scored.
Yes.
Understood. All right. We go get into that, but one person is asking, and I keep on telling them, but they don't believe me.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to tell them yourself, right?
Okay.
They ask again if you can play in the current U20s. So, but I've said that because you turned 20 this year, you can't play. Is that the case, or you have opted not to play?
Well, I believe I could play because I'm not 20 yet. I'm still currently 19. So I feel like I could. However, I think just because I was with the senior national team, I didn't I don't remember I didn't ever get an email in
I
inviting.
think when I spoke to, based on the rules, if you
Mhm.
turn 20, because I did speak to your dad, and I think that
Okay.
is it, because the Peyton, I think, is in the same. There's a couple of players from the U20 team that you're on. They're almost the same age of you as you, but they can't. Oh, so right. So it says it goes
Oh,
by birth year 2004.
okay.
You're not
Okay.
right because you're born in 2004.
3. I was born in 2003.
Yeah, three, right. So you have to be born
Yeah.
in 2004.
Okay.
Right, right,
Okay.
right, right.
That makes
Not
sense.
birth date, right. So there you
Right.
go. So I think that was the case. So you
Okay.
can't play. But I know that the younger Washington sister, because there are
Mhm.
two of them. Oh,
Yes.
gee. What's her name? So,
Soleil.
but Soleil. She's
Yes.
also at Tennessee, right?
No, Giselle is here at Tennessee, and Soleil is still in high school, but she's committed to Duke.
Oh, she's going to the Blue Devils.
Hmm.
So, Duke is my school, so
Oh,
it will
really?
be, yeah, it will be. Well, but you don't play in the same conference. That's the only
No,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
You won't be meeting each other.
no.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So, tell us a bit about the tour in Australia,
Yes.
scoring for the Reggae girls. Because this one, the captain was not there. Um,
Mhm.
was not there, so other persons were expected to probably carry the burden of scoring goals, and you stepped
Yeah.
up. So talk to us about that, and then we want to get to England, where you actually played
Mhm.
with Khadija for the first time.
Yes, I would say.
Yeah,
Well, we played. Obviously, I mean, we played a little bit in South Korea, but in training, but in the actual game, I was in for 8 minutes, so we didn't get that much
right. So,
time together. But
right.
yeah.
Yes. So talk to us about the three games in Australia, what that was like for you, and then
Okay.
we go to what happened in Sheffield, and then a
Okay.
couple more questions, and we'll close out. Go ahead.
Okay. So Australia, even though South Korea kind of blew my mind, Australia blew my mind even more, just because of where I was, um, the fact that we were playing Spain, Australia, and Czech Republic, because those are teams that I always watched whenever I would watch international soccer, and I knew that there were some big time players on those teams as well. But that being with that squad too, because it was very similar to the squad in South Korea, but I think
Right.
but there's a little different, like no bunny, and then a couple other players. But that time, I mean, just the overall preparation was so much different, and it was very serious because we wanted to take that trip very seriously, because however, the World Cup is going to actually be in Australia. We wanted to get accustomed to the culture and kind of the environment, and the stadiums that we played in could potentially be some stadiums that we play in. So that trip, we just wanted to take that very serious and make note of a lot of things, as well as get together and play some games, right? So um, the first game against Spain, I always knew Spain. They're one of the top teams, like right
Mhm.
now, in women's international soccer. So playing against them, seeing how quick they are, they just move the ball, and that was just an experience. And being able to go on and then hold my own, just keeping the ball, because I win at the 9. So at that point, got to hold it up a little bit, make some runs when it makes
Yeah.
sense. But really, I just felt like I had to do a lot of holding up just to secure some possession for the team. Um, but obviously, my game is still to be pretty explosive and to make some runs and go 1v1. So I would say that was a little bit of a struggle for me, for that time, because being able, obviously these defenders are not like club or college defenders, so I was just a little bit more mindful about that and wanted to keep the ball more than anything. But one of the things that the coaches said was, like, stick to your game, be you, like that's why we like you, this why we brought you in. So I would say that was a really eye-opening moment playing wise. But
And so we lost to Spain, I think three goals to nil.
yes,
Yeah. All right.
yes.
So that's
So
the first game.
that was the first game. Um, Amazing experience. Loved the complex that we played in, and we even stayed after to watch Australia play Czech Republic a little bit. And I just, me and Soleil were we couldn't believe the players that we were seeing, the locker room, everything. Because like I mentioned in South Korea, just like hadn't seen anything like it before. Um, but that was the first game, and then we played Czech Republic next, and I started that game for the first time. Like finding out that I was starting was unreal because they told
Yes.
us in the
This is that.
meeting. They
Did,
told
did,
us in
did,
the meeting,
did
so
it text you that? Did it text you that and say that you have to start watching from the beginning because I'm starting? Did it say
yes,
that?
yes, and we were on like literally opposite time zones, so it was 5 p.m. there. It was like 3 a.m. at home, and so they had to really time out their days to be able to catch the game. But at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm stunned. Like I sent him that text, and he just sent a whole bunch of fire emojis. Like, let's go. Like, make sure you're focused and ready to go. But I was nervous because usually when if you start on the bench, you can kind of get a glimpse of what the
Yes,
game
we're
is like,
doing.
the speed. You can kind of make some notes of what you want to add in. But starting, like, you just have to be on right away. And so um starting for the first time, and that stadium has by far been my favorite stadium that we've played in. I think it was called Common Bank Stadium in Sydney. But the whole experience, the whole from pulling up in the bus and getting in the locker room, that was also the nicest locker room I had ever seen. And
What?
jerseys, yes. And so the jerseys were
You
up,
see,
the
this is why
brand
you have
new.
to go back. You have to go back. You have to go back, right?
I have
For
to
the
go
World
back. I have to go back. I have to. But the jerseys were set up, the brand new Adidas kits with
Oh
my last
yes,
name next.
yes, yes, yes.
And then with my last name on it and the number, and I just was, and it was just a lot. It was a lot to deal with. I was very, very overwhelmed, but so feeling so blessed and so grateful because aside from playing, like, these are life experiences that not many people get to experience. So I was trying to stay in the moment, and then playing in the game and being able to score was I didn't think it could get any better than just playing, and starting for the senior team for the first time. But then being able to score and to tie the game up at the time, my biggest thing that I just kept saying was I couldn't believe I was there. I was
How,
just
how, how is that for you?
there.
Do you like going to like you know that today I'm going to score? Like when you got that ball, you said, "Listen, this has to end in the back of the net." Like, or it just happened. There are no thoughts. There's nothing going through your mind except I'm just going to whatever happens. Or like you step into a game where you kind of have this like, you know what, today I just have this feeling
Hmm.
like I'm going to score today. And like when you got that ball, this is the moment. Or you don't have any time to have that kind of a thought. What
No,
was what was the moment like?
well, leading up to the game, just knowing that I was starting, I was just trying to keep my emotions level because I know if just from the player that I am, if I get too overwhelmed, too nervous, or focused on outside things that don't matter, it affects my game. So my main thing leading up, I was trying to listen to my music and just stay level headed and stay focused so that I could perform well. But when it came to that moment and the ball was coming to me, I had no time to think. Like, okay, this is my time. Like, be very clinical right now, Cameron. Like, it's coming, it's coming. No, I didn't. Obviously, just playing, I wasn't expecting to score. Obviously, I would love to. As a forward, every game I go in, like, okay, I want to score today. I have to score today. But just me being realistic, playing for the first time at 19 years old with, these senior players playing against Czech Republic, which is a good team. It wasn't. I didn't know how tangible that goal really was. However, when the moment came and I saw, the net, I saw the ball hit the net, I just
Yeah.
blacked out. I just blacked out because, like I said, I didn't have any time to think. I wasn't thinking. I just saw the ball coming to me, and I'm like, okay, I know I need to hit this wherever the goalie is not. We got to score it. So, but like I said, it had like the turnover, like Drew Spence took it off of the center
Right.
forward, and then it was straight, like, okay, let's go to goals, try to get a quick counter. And, she took the first shot, it came back, and I'm still just ready, bouncing, if it ever comes my way. And then she played the perfect ball that I could just step and then finish. So uh, I, I just relived that moment. I just,
How often do you play that? Like. How often do you play your first senior team goal
a lot.
against the Czech Republic?
And
Yeah.
a lot. And then even,
Did you cry? Was it just smiling? What was it like? Did you know like where to run, what to do, or you had like your pre-planned celebration? Like if I score, this is what I am going to do, or it just spontaneously happened.
well, it just kind of happened. But I knew, obviously my favorite player is Marcus Rashford. He's one of my favorite players to
What?
watch.
Oh my lord!
Yes, right.
Manchester United
Yes, yes.
Manchester United player is not going too well right now
Yeah,
because
it's
I
okay.
support Arsenal, just to let you know, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
But
But
Marcus Rashford, all right, Marcus, go
yes.
ahead. I don't know
So
what Marcus Rashford have to do with the quality goal that you scored, so let me.
right. No, but no, he's one of my favorite players, and I just had watched the season prior to this season where he was just struggling pretty badly. He was just kind of in a funk, and his touches were off. He wasn't scoring goals. And I've had times like that in my career where my mind was just gone, my touch is terrible, could not connect a pass, finishing just off. And I just felt like I could kind of relate to that. So doing the celebration where, he points to his head, kind of signifying that like the mental part of it, the mindset is everything. And so I
What is
knew,
it? Like, is
yeah,
this?
yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I knew if I were to score that I had to do that celebration. Um but obviously I didn't think it was going to happen. So when the moment came, I didn't know where to run, what camera to look at. I was just doing it, and I was hoping someone would snap a picture. Um, but yes, and then I did. I didn't cry on the field, but it wasn't until like after, and kind of seeing my phone for the first time and all of the comments,
Yeah.
text messages, and calls. Like that's when it all kind of hit me. Um, and then
And I mean, when it went, what was it like now in the locker room when the game was over? Your teammates are back. You're a
Mhm.
young player. Did How does that work in the locker room? Did the coach like being a young player just coming
Mhm.
into the team, scoring on debut? Well, not on debut, but scoring your first goal. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like? What was the response of your teammates?
Well, I had a great response from the teammates, especially when I came off after. But given that we did concede a late goal that
Yeah,
game
yeah, yeah,
to result in a loss, I feel
yeah,
like, you know, just overall, we didn't want to lose that game. We would have been
yeah.
very happy we felt like we could have won that game actually, but to be able to leave with the result would have been really nice. And that was pretty important to us. So, given that we did concede a late goal, some people were down and the coaches were kind of down, but everyone still, gave me a hug for given that that was my first goal and that was a pretty big goal to tie it up. So I was still feeling the love from the coaches and the team, but we still did have to focus on, you know,
Australia.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We still had to focus on what was next and trying to build on conceding late goals because we had conceded, I believe, two late goals in the Spain game as
In the
well. So,
Spain game,
yeah,
right,
we
right, right,
just
right.
yeah, we wanted to talk about that and really figure out what was going on. So, being able, but like you said, focusing on Australia, there wasn't a lot of time to celebrate, happy, happy, happy. But I still did feel a lot of love from the staff and the team there.
All right, wonderful. All right, so we played Australia after that because I know we want to make sure that you go and eat on time. And
Mhm.
listen, people, let me just say this because yesterday, let me just inject this right here. Yesterday, we were
Okay.
talking about, just our local players on the male side about the importance of, eating healthy, which
Yes.
includes eating on time. So let me
Mhm.
just let you know that Cameron must have lunch at a particular time, right? So we have to keep the interview to a particular time, which is part of the discipline that is needed for development. You have to eat healthy, and
Yes.
eating healthy also means eating at the right time and
Mhm.
eating the right amount. So just want to let everyone know that. But before we get to the Australia game and England,
Mhm.
and you looking ahead to the World Cup, right?
Mhm.
Someone is asking about how you are able to. Can you ask her how is she balancing academics? Is she taking her classes online or hybrid? Right?
Yes.
Especially when you have you have to travel with the senior team. How does that? Yeah.
Yes, so it's not easy just because I'm taking like 5 classes right now. Half are um, online and half are in person. Thankfully, the in person classes I have twice a week. So when I'm gone, you know, multiple weeks or a week at a time, I'll just be missing like really 2 classes. However, I do, keep a close communication with my professors. They kind of know my situation and they're always going to be supportive, and no one's going to say, "Oh, you can't go, like this is very serious." But um with the help of classes being online, I can still communicate with all of my professors online, and I can communicate with any classmates that I need notes from. I also have a great academic advisor who helps, making sure that everything is in line for me. Like she'll send me off with a to-do list just to make sure that I'm getting
Okay.
everything in on time, and obviously to be very cautious of the time changes as well, because that changes the
Oh
time of the due
yes.
dates. But it's been hard just missing class time, but I've been able to keep up my grades. And like I said before, my professors and everyone are super supportive and helpful. So that has helped that situation a lot.
Yeah, and I know sometimes there are persons who would do makeup classes in the summer, but you would not have that opportunity since the
Right.
World Cup is in the you
This
know is in the summer
yes.
as well. So
So
um
I still I'm taking some summer classes, but they're all online as well. So any downtime I'll be focusing on my schoolwork.
okay, all right.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask her. So she's able to, right? And yeah, I know that the grades are up there, so she's going to be graduating from Tennessee with honors.
Yes.
All right, there you go. Wonderful. But let's go to the Australia game, and then we're going to close out with England recently. And you came on in England, and you
Mhm.
had your part, what they call it, the first assist to lead to the
Sure.
actual second goal in that game.
Yes.
But talk to us a little bit about the Australian game,
Hmm.
the final game of the tour in
Sure.
Australia.
Yes, so that game was incredible. The crowd was incredible because, Australia being the home team, really, it was great to kind of be there and experience that. Sam Kerr is a player that I watch a lot, and
You know,
to be able to see her in person playing in the flesh was just incredible. But
always wonder about that, right?
mhm.
Like if I were to play with Messi, right?
Right,
When I go into that field, like what would I do? Would I tackle him, or would
yes,
I just
I mean,
stand
you
in
have to.
and then,
You
like
have to.
and
I
say,
mean,
"Wow, look at
you
that
just have
skill!"
to.
No, so now that you like to watch soccer, she's on the field. Wait,
Mhm.
what did you do? Like when you get close to her?
No, well, I that game throughout the tournament we kind of did like a rotation where everyone kind
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
sat a game, so I didn't get in the Australia game. But I did make sure to grab a picture with her after, and but just watching from the sideline, and whenever one of my teammates, put in a good tackle or good effort, like I was the first one to stand up, like yes, because
You're happy with it?
yes, like because we just have some we're just playing to prepare, and everything is to prepare in that game. Even though we did lose um 3-0, we played
Yeah,
our best game that whole tournament. Like we were able to put together a lot of passes. We made some great we were very structured defensively, and even in the attack we had some good looks. So we walked away from that game pretty happy based on the performance, because we have a lot to build on. And then obviously, with that group and then adding Bunny back into the mix, everyone was pretty positive and excited. Um, So that game was great. Like I said before, I didn't get in. So playing wise, I don't have much for you, but
Yeah,
overall the
that's all right. That's all
experience.
right. And then the next big thing was England,
England,
which it
yes.
initially started out a little difficult because
Hmm.
some of the necessities were not in place, and
Right.
but I know there was a meeting that was held and the coach
Hmm.
spoke about no the team is at a better place with the
Yes.
federation and all of that. We won't get into all of that, but you came on in that game against Sheffield. That this is
Yes.
again one of the camps.
Hmm.
And you were the person who actually played a brilliant pass. I was doing commentary and I said, here is Simmons on it, on the left
Oh.
side. She opens up her hips and she plays it down the flank. And there we go.
Yes.
Ball played inside that body shot into the back of the net. And there we so talk to
Yes.
us.
Yes.
But talk to us about that, just being a part of that goal and the team actually, because it's the first time the national team won a game since with you being a part of it because
Right.
they had right. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So going into that game, we had originally planned on playing Cameroon 2 games.
Right, right.
But like you said, the necessities, I think it just fell through. It didn't work out. However, playing Sheffield, we knew that this was a big opportunity because this group that we were in England was probably going to be very similar to the group that will be going to the World Cup. So we wanted to, um, the coaches made it a big point that we have to do the things that we want to do. We have a clear structure of the things that we want to do, whether it's formation, defensive style, offensive style. And so going into that, and obviously I had my role. I had what the coaches wanted me to do or bring to the team. But being able to be there, there were so many Jamaican fans there because I know there's a big
Really?
population. Yes, there's a big.
Because we
There's a
were
big.
saying that the stadium looked empty.
It did. There was a section. There was a section that I don't think the cameras may have gotten that,
Oh,
but
oh,
there was some.
oh.
Yeah, there was a lot of Jamaican flags, and
What?
I will
We
say
didn't see we didn't see any of that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there was a really nice crowd out there, and it was just nice to see that and feel that love from so far. But yeah, being able to get in, and I knew right away as a winger I have to stay wide and try my best to create something, whether it's a cross or a goal. But yeah, getting in. And knowing that I wanted to do something, I had to show something, help the team in some way. Because being up 1 goal against a team where things were pretty level, being getting that second goal was pretty important to me, and I wanted to make sure that I helped the team in any way. So I was, as soon as I faced up, I saw Bunny running, and I said, okay, like I have to get this pass right because it's Bunny, and I have to be
right.
able to play her and put her in a position where she can
Yes.
do something great. And so I was happy with that. And then being able to walk away with the win was a great feeling, especially since this will be you know, our last camp for a little bit until June. But
Until June, right? Because you're supposed to have two games
yes,
um during that time and it's supposed to be in Jamaica as
yes,
well during like some tour stuff before you go off to the World Cup. No, I mean up front very competitive in terms of the team.
yeah,
Probably except for the central striker position, that you can play Bonisha, but you can also play on the flanks. But you have like Jody Brown,
hmm,
Paige Bailey Gill.
yes,
Oh my God, she just got married. She plays for Rangers. She
hmm,
can also play on the
Gila,
flanks, but yeah, yeah. So there's a
McKenna,
lot. The Washingtons also
hmm,
both of them can play out there. So lots of competition, and then you have down the middle. I mean, are you confident that you will be in the mix for Australia and looking forward to at 19? Um, Kayla McKenney. I think she McCoy McKenney and right. I think her name
yeah,
is
Kayla McKenna,
Yeah, McKenna. There you go.
yes,
Thank you so much,
hmm,
Rachel Jones.
hmm,
Right. So, I mean, are you confident that, listen, whatever that roster, Cameron is going to work hard to make sure that she's on that roster for the World Cup? Because Jody Brown was one of the better, I think she was voted one of the best young players in the
yes,
last edition. is that something that you're aspiring to do? Like, oh my God, if I get there, when I leave the tournament, that's the award that I'm
Yes, yes,
walk away
absolutely.
with.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Like, if I make that squad, I just would just be over the moon, and I know that if I were to do it, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help the team in the best way possible, win some games, score some goals, and win that award would just be incredible. I'm telling you, like that's my main focus
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, that's the main focus right now, and I'm just continuing to train hard in the weight room and on the field, and just really, really hoping to finally to make that final squad. That would just be a dream come true, a true blessing from God for
Yeah.
sure.
So finally, what is it like playing with I mean, Khadija? Is it like like if say for example Cameron was playing with some, she went back to play for her um E ECNL,
ECNL.
the right team, right? Having played for a national team, and she's playing center forward. Don't pass all the balls to her because you
Sure.
know, all right, that's Cameron. You have to give her the ball. Is it like that playing with like the leading scorer in WSL, or
hmm
she takes pressure off you and says, "No, keep it. You can, do it," or it is like pass the ball to the star.
No, no, I mean, given the goals that she scored and how well she's playing right now, obviously when you play with her, it's okay, she probably wants the ball, she probably wants the ball. But she's really not like that. Like one thing she definitely tries to set everyone else up around her to, score goals or get some opportunities to score goals. I feel like, especially from the coaches, the overall culture is not always, find it, find her, find her, find her, find her. But
Yeah,
obviously, her being the target, it is very important in how good she is at holding up the ball, and she does make herself an option very often. That's obviously the smart way to go. And one of the things about our play is in any turnover where we have a counterattack, we want to find the highest player. But I would say in training and in small sided games, she's very, good at making sure everyone does what they do. Stick to your game. If you have a 1v1 opportunity, and if I'm making a run, I feel like she's more, you do whatever it is that you want. Obviously,
yeah,
there's not that much, um, I would say, pressure or intent to always try and find her feet. But of course, her being the player she is, it's an amazing person to have and to play alongside. But I would say a team, you know, works well when everyone is at their best and can play off each other even better. So yeah.
yeah. This final question is maybe it's a question that you'd have to discuss with your family, but if you want, you can take a stab at it. It says, are you considering an Olympic red shirt for the 2023-24 academic year? I guess that would depend on if the team qualifies, because you still have a game, I think, against Canada to determine.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah, I think we have to beat Canada in, oh geez,
Yeah.
after the World Cup, sometime after the World Cup to determine if. But say we qualify, um, you know, would
You
you
know,
consider doing that just to go and play the Olympic, or nah? I gotta do the school stuff first.
I don't know. I've never even thought about that. I honestly didn't even know that that was an option. But yeah, I would definitely have to discuss with, you know, my academic advisor, my parents, and we have to see because, my biggest thing, obviously, with the opportunities that have presented themselves to play soccer at the highest level, being able to balance that with academics is still very, very important. And knowing that at the end of the day, I have to get this degree. So I'm not sure. I guess that would definitely be a large topic to talk about with the family, but I didn't even
Yeah,
know that was
lots of
an
football.
option.
Yep, because you even have
But
the
the
Pan American
Olympics,
Games as well.
yeah.
So yeah,
The
you
Olympics though.
yeah, the Olympics. Like if we qualify for the Olympics, like whoa, like you can understand from the Pan Am Games, but the Olympics, it would be interesting to see how things go, because it will be the following year anyways, and it's
Right.
not a World Cup year that year, so maybe that would allow you time to be there. But we are also in a very difficult, I would say, zone.
Sure.
We have France.
Hmm.
Brazil,
So
Jamaica, and I think Panama. Is it Panama? I think it is
yeah.
Panama that. Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Yes.
we had very we had a very close game with Panama in
Hmm.
the right. So what are your thoughts? I mean, you think we can the team is good enough to make it out of a group like that? Because some people honestly a lot of persons think our female football is doing better now, but they
Hmm.
think we have been dealt a very, very tough hand with the group that we have been given.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, um, you know, confidence is important. But so that if the team believes, it is possible, though
Oh
it is seem improbable.
yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, what are your thoughts about that group?
I mean, I feel like what gives me a lot of confidence is how good we can be. Like the players, we have so much talent on the team, and I've seen the things we can do in the games and in training. Like I have a lot of confidence in this team and in the squad and in the coaches that we could be able to pull something off as long as we're all focused and together. But again, I feel like right now, maybe more than ever, um, across the board, how do I put this? But I feel like it used to kind of be a top group and then everyone else was just kind of level. But I feel like now
Yeah,
more than ever, it's very, very level. And, you know, just the women's game in general is growing so much, and a lot of players are becoming or given more opportunity. So then when they come together playing on the world stage, I feel like this World Cup is going to be very exciting, similar to the men's, where teams who you never even expect to beat,
yeah.
top teams are beating them and then making it to the quarterfinals or whatever. Like I feel like, you know, this Women's World Cup has a chance to be very, very interesting, and maybe hopefully something similar. But no, I do have a lot of confidence within this group that we'd be able to pull something pretty
All
amazing.
right. All right, final question, right? I think
Yes.
I know the answer to this, right? So it's kind of two parts, right? Do you want to play football professionally, or you just want to do college and then, you know, yeah, if
Yeah.
that's it, the college. I mean, pursue whatever your degree is going to be in.
Right.
That's the field of work you want to get involved, or you want to be a professional footballer, but you want to get the degree first, and then you focus on your professional career.
Yes, I definitely want to play professional football. England, US, like I definitely want to be playing professional soccer one way or another. However, it is really important to me that I do get the degree first. However, if the opportunity presents itself, and I have a good conversation with my parents and grandparents and academic advisor, and just kind of figure out what is best for me, then we'll do that with the time being. But as of right now, my goals are definitely to continue playing after college, hopefully with the degree in hand as well.
Yeah. All right. So if when the time comes to play professional football, who, which one of these clubs do you dream of playing for?
Well, I don't want any hate for this, but I would love to play for Man United.
I knew, I knew that was coming. You know what I mean. I knew that was coming, but I don't know. How do they do in the women's league over there in England? I mean, do they do well?
Yes, I believe they're either first or second right now.
Really?
Yes.
I need to check on that.
Yes.
Manchester United
Mhm.
over Arsenal.
Mhm.
Over Arsenal, I think those stats are not correct.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I see Duklan is asking, what is your field of study? What are you pursuing in terms of university?
Yes. So right now I'm studying sports management because I think either way I'm going to want to be in the sports world, and I feel like being um within that world of sports business and sports management is definitely my biggest interest right now outside of professional soccer. So yes, my major right now is sports management.
Okay, so you have to find a way, right, to name it. Of Cameron, Gregory, think Jay. What's the name of your brother? Oh, jeez, I keep forgetting.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. What's the younger one name?
The Kai and Grant, they're twins.
Kai and Grant. So you have to find a way to put all of those names together and call it, or you call it the Simmons Elite Agency and Academy. I
Yes,
don't know,
yes,
it's like
yes,
big thing.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
would be good. All right. Somebody's saying that you should choose Arsenal, Lyon, FC Barcelona, or Manchester
yes.
City.
No, absolutely. Those are all top. It would just be any of
Yes,
those.
you have to understand there's a lot of Arsenal fans that say Cameron will end up at Arsenal management. All right.
I'd be, I would be fine with that.
Yeah, but Dwight did say that Manchester United are actually top of the Women's Super League table in
Yes,
England.
yes.
Um, is that by default? But you have a lot of fans, Cameron. So
No, thank you.
they're all watching. I know you have to have lunch, so we did promise that we'd go for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So we're like 1 hour and 11 minutes. So I want to give you your final say in terms of who you can thank your parents or thank the
Yes.
persons who are watching, however you want to close. Or if there's anything like you think like this crazy guy asked all the questions and he didn't ask this one, so let me tell the people you can go ahead.
Well, no, yeah, I definitely just want to shout out my family. I saw my grandma's note a little bit ago. You put it up on the screen, but I just think that my family is just the biggest part of all of this, all of my success and love for the game and love for them. I know that they're all watching, especially, my grandparents and my dad and my mom and my brothers. We all just are so faithful and within each other and with God. So definitely want to shout out them, and then give a shout out to my teammates here in Vol Soccer, as well as Own Touch and Futsal RVA. I just think that this being what's helping me grow and being my foundation, giving me the best resources ever to become the player that I am and achieve the goals that I want to. So, yes, big shout out to them. Thank you so much for this opportunity and all of the fans watching and the questions. I appreciate it all. Um, yes, thank you. Just thank you, everybody. Thank you. Very, very grateful,
Wonderful.
especially for you for inviting me.
Wonderful. I'm so delighted that you came on because we have been saying it for a long time that the 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 truth is the fan base in Jamaica are very critical of the male program, but
Mm,
they have a lot of love for the female program. But we don't get to interact a whole
right.
lot with the players on the female team. And
Sure.
I'm very delighted that you took the brave step of coming on, and I hope this will kind of open the door so that others will feel comfortable to come and share their story, just to get the fans to know more into, just their own path and their journey into the sport. And so I'm very grateful that you did that and you express yourself quite eloquently. And I
Thank you.
think this has just increased your fan base
Thank you so much.
overall. And we do believe that you will be a part. We are not coaches, but we do
Hopefully.
believe that you will be a part of the team going to the World Cup.
Sure.
And yeah, and we think that we're going to qualify for the Olympic, and you're going to be a part of that as well. So
Thank you.
all the best. But
Thank you.
once you bring up Manchester United, you must know that there's a whole lot of see the Chelsea people said that Chelsea has a game in hand. So if they win that game, they take the lead. They're also reminded you that today Manchester United female will play Arsenal female
Yes.
at 1:15.
Okay, I will be
So
watching. We'll see what happens.
we will see
We'll
what
see.
happens because I'm very sure that the Gunners are going to gun them down.
Oh,
I'm sure.
okay. We'll see.
But enjoy the rest of your day, Cameron. Go and
Thank you
have
so
lunch.
much.
And yes, I hope in the future, though, it would be good for you to, you know, um, when they come to Jamaica, go into some of these high schools and just
Oh
tell
yeah.
some of the kids your story about and just how disciplined you are, your ability to do your academical work and still dedicate yourself to training with or
Yes,
without any competition,
for
and
sure.
how it has brought you to the place that you're at. I hope you can share it with other young girls
Yes,
who want to
absolutely.
take the same journey but need the kind of motivational words that you shared today, and
Sure.
hopefully that will inspire them. So
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
so much, and
Love
I'm
to.
absolutely grateful
Thank you.
that you made the time to come and be on the show today, Cameron.
Oh, yes, thank you for the opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. I had a great time.
Wonderful. All right, so
Right.
there you go, people. That was Cameron Simmonds. All right, Reggae Girl, U20, all of those stuff. Fantastic interview. And if you know of a young lady who wants to play football, it would be very good if you, if you actually, um, basically had them listen to this and be inspired. For those who are asking if she can play U20. The U20, uh, from my understanding, is by year, just like with the U15 and U17. So because Cameron is a 2003 and the U20 is for 2004, it means that she would not be able to play in the U20. But don't worry, the team has qualified for the next round of the competition, and they're like Slay Washington. There are a couple others who were not in this team that, if the coach sees it fit, yeah, they can be included in the team for the next round. So we have at least 5 players. A couple of them have played with the senior team that can be called in by the head coach, and I think that information is available to the federation. Listen, I want to thank you so much, all of you, for participating in this interview. It was a good one. Again, please hit the like button, subscribe, uh, share. Um, yeah, and Cameron will be also be looking at your comments when she gets to rewatch this. So if you want to say something to encourage her, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section, so she and her family can see that. I had sorry sure improvement. I really had other engagements. That I had to do. Thank you, Mommy Simmons, for being here. You understand me? Very great interview. And to the parents, listen, like, we need to hear these stories. Parents, like, a lot of the success in our kids are in our hands. All right, Cameron and her brothers are not where they are because of their coaches, but because of their parents. So please, I implore you, if you're a parent and you're watching this, I just implore you to take some time to spend with your kids in developing the giftings in them. And you have to be intentional about that. So I want to big up Mr. and Mrs. Simmons for their diligent and dedicated work as parent for raising great kids. That at 19-year-old, this is what is happening. It's the same thing with Jody Brown. So parenting has a lot to do with the progress of our kids. So I implore you. And so big up to the Simmons family. I am Man's Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports. Later we'll be having on our program uh, Eric Makers. He is the coach at Kingston Soccer Academy that just went to the Netherlands with a U17 and a U15, and they did a tremendous job. He will be coming on to talk to us about that, and we'll be also talking to a few other players. There are some updates with the Reno situation that we are also going to give you in that discussion as well. Enjoy the rest of the day. Be safe. Seek a way to add value to people's life. I am Kingston Football Academy. I am Management. This has been I Am Sure sports. And as usual, when it gets to this point of the show, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.